Leo, if you've been waiting for a sign that your biggest financial blessing is finally on its way, this is it. Not next week. Not someday. Right now. This video isn't just a horoscope. It's a doorway. And you're not here by accident. There's something moving around you, maybe you felt it. It's not a gust of wind or a lucky guess. It's a shift in energy, subtle but unmistakable, calling your name. The moment you clicked on this video, you stepped into alignment with something much bigger than you may realize. Today is September 26th. And this is not just another date on the calendar. It's what astrologers call an energetic crossroad. The moon is dancing through Gemini, encouraging meaningful conversations, mental clarity, and spontaneous connections that lead to breakthrough ideas. At the same time, Venus, yes, your radiant ruler, is holding a sacred conversation with Uranus, the planet of sudden change and financial awakenings. Together, they're creating a ripple effect that could open up a completely new path for you, especially when it comes to money, value, and what you believe you deserve. You're not watching this video because you're curious. You're here because a part of you is ready. And maybe, just maybe, this is the moment your spirit has been waiting for. See, we're not just talking about material wealth. We're talking about preparing something sacred, a symbolic bag for millions. Not a physical bag. A space within you. A vessel for prosperity. A place where your beliefs, intentions, and actions come together to create results. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not promising overnight miracles. But what I am saying, what I know, is that if you're willing to meet the universe halfway, something extraordinary can happen. Not through force, but through alignment. And that's exactly what this video will help you do, not wish for abundance, but prepare to receive it. So if this resonates with you, take a breath and stay with me until the end. We're going deeper than surface-level astrology. This isn't about fortune-telling. It's about faith in motion and the moment when a spiritual truth becomes a physical reality. And while we're here, let me just say this: thank you for showing up. Really. Thank you. Every time you like, comment, or subscribe, you're doing more than engaging with content, stepping into a greater flow. You're joining a collective of awakened minds, of Leo souls just like you, who are remembering their worth and reclaiming their voice. You are why eternal mindfulness exists. Your support fuels this space and allows us to keep delivering the kind of messages that don't just entertain, but transform. Now, before we begin, let me ask you something important. What was it that pulled you here today? Was it a quiet urge? A random scroll that didn't feel so random? Or maybe deep down you already know the answer. Whatever it was, it brought you to the right place. So, take a moment and ground your energy by commenting below, "I'm ready to receive my $1 million blessing." Let that be your signal, not just to this community, but to yourself and to the universe, that you're open, willing, and aligned. Stay with me. What's coming next may just change everything. There are certain days when the energy in the air feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for you to notice. September 26th is one of those days. If you've been sensing that something is shifting in your world but couldn't quite name it, this might be what you've been feeling. With the moon moving through Gemini, the cosmos isn't just whispering, it's actively speaking through messages, conversations, and passing moments that feel different, sharper, more meaningful. Gemini is a sign that thrives on curiosity and connection. And when the moon flows through it, it becomes easier to spot the clues life is leaving you in texts, in emails, even in the way someone looks at you mid-sentence. This is not the time to dismiss the small things. That email you almost didn't check. That quick voice message someone left. That article you nearly scrolled past. These aren't accidents. They're energetic breadcrumbs. Little nudges from the universe, wrapped in everyday clothing, trying to lead you towards something bigger. This is how abundance begins, not always with a bang, but often with a blink. And while the moon does its dance in Gemini, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and yes, money, is glowing from within your very own sign, Leo. That alone is powerful. But when Venus begins forming a flowing trine with Uranus, something rare happens. Uranus doesn't ask for permission. It disrupts. It awakens. It liberates. And when it touches Venus, it tends to shake loose the patterns we've outgrown around self-worth and money, especially if we've been stuck in lack thinking, fear of visibility, or playing small to make others comfortable. So, what does this mean for you? It means that today, you're standing at the threshold of a financial vibration that's not only unusual, it's wired for innovation and divine timing. If you've had ideas you were too afraid to share, or offers you've been too cautious to accept, this alignment is like a cosmic green light. But here's the thing about Uranus. It rewards the bold, not the hesitant. If you want to catch what it's offering, you don't chase it, you leap. And this is where the energy of the Fool from the Tarot enters, echoing the theme. It's the card of beginnings, but not cautious ones. It's the moment when logic quiets down and something older, deeper inside you says, now. It's standing at the edge of a cliff with the wind at your back and your heart pounding with something that feels a lot like fear and exactly like freedom. You don't have all the details. You don't have all the guarantees. But you do have faith. You do have the stirring that says, I wasn't made to stay here. So, if you've been asking for change, understand that today, the universe isn't just offering it, it's co-creating it with you. But only if you're willing to meet it halfway. Think of your life as a field. The moon in Gemini is the wind clearing the space. Venus is the warmth in the soil. Uranus is the sudden rainfall. But you, dear Leo, you are the one who plants the seed. This isn't about wishing harder. It's about recognizing that your willingness to act is the key that unlocks flow. Even if it's something as simple as sending a message, making a call, updating your profile, or writing down a dream that's been living only in your head. Small steps, when taken in the right alignment, open large gates. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to say yes and trust the ground will meet your feet on the way down. And if you're wondering, what if I leap and fall? I'll ask you this instead, what if you leap and fly? We talk a lot about receiving, don't we? About wanting more, about calling in abundance. But here's the truth most people don't say out loud, the universe doesn't deliver to people who just wish. It delivers to people who make room. This is what I mean when I talk about the $1 million bag. It's not a designer wallet or a fancy safe. It's not about physical storage. It's about energetic preparation. It's a symbol one you create not to hold cash or coins, but to hold belief, clarity, and commitment. Because if you're asking for more without being ready to carry more, You'll miss it when it comes. Think of it like this: abundance is like rain. It can fall all around you, but if you don't have a container to catch it, it runs off and disappears into the ground. Your bag is that container. It's how you signal to life that you're no longer hoping for blessings, you're making space for them. I've seen this with people from all walks of life. The moment someone prepares something physical to represent their readiness, something shifts. Not because the object itself is magical, but because it speaks a language your subconscious understands. When you hold a box, a pouch, or a beautiful notebook and declare, "This is where my blessings will land," you're not just playing pretend. You're stepping into spiritual agreement. You're aligning thought, feeling, and action into one clear message: I'm ready. Pick something that feels meaningful to you. It could be a wooden box that reminds you of home, a velvet pouch that makes you feel rich just touching it, or a leather wallet that feels solid and timeless. This isn't about perfection. It's about intention. Then, write your affirmation on paper. Not typed. Not whispered. Written. Something like, "I'm ready to receive the biggest financial gift of my life." Or even simpler, "I am available for abundance." This small act does two powerful things. It gives your intention shape, and it gives your energy direction. And don't underestimate the power of color in this ritual. Colors hold vibration. Gold isn't just pretty, it represents divine wealth, light, and worthiness. Ruby red is life force, boldness, magnetism. Platinum white clears noise, sharpens intuition, and opens you to higher guidance. Surround your bag with these colors. Light a candle. Drape a scarf. Visualize these tones glowing from within. It doesn't have to be complex, it just needs to feel honest. What you're doing here isn't manifesting, in a superficial sense. You're inviting your nervous system into a new story. You're calming the parts of you that are used to waiting, and activating the parts of you that are ready to receive. Because abundance isn't just about having. It's about holding. About sustaining. About learning how to be someone who doesn't sabotage it when it finally arrives. So don't just pray for money. Don't just say the words. Show life that there's already a space for it in your world. Show your body that it's safe to receive. Show your energy that it's time. And if you've made your bag, written your affirmation, and are feeling that inner yes, I want you to do one more thing. Comment below and say it out loud: "I've prepared my bag. I'm ready." Let your voice be heard. Let it echo through this community. Let it become a declaration that the universe cannot ignore. At some point on this journey, every seeker has to make a choice: keep dreaming or start doing. And if today is September 26th, then the timing is not just symbolic, it's strategic. The energy is clear. The space has been cleared. And now, the universe is watching to see how you respond. We often think miracles come with trumpets and lightning bolts. But in truth, they usually arrive through small doors disguised as ordinary tasks. A message you've been meaning to send. A conversation you've avoided. A cluttered drawer you've walked past a dozen times this week. These may not look like spiritual rituals, but when done with intention, they are. There's a kind of magic that only activates when you move. Energy responds to movement, it follows it, builds with it, grows through it. And right now, the momentum is already on your side. But momentum alone won't carry you forward unless you partner with it. So maybe today's not the day for big declarations or 10-step plans. Maybe it's the day you send that email you've been putting off. The one that's been quietly calling your name. Maybe it's the day you finally log into that old account and clean things up, or you revisit your resume and see it not as a boring task, but as an energetic update of your story. Maybe it's the day you finally take that envelope, that sticky note, that drawer full of unopened paperwork and clear it. Not because you have to, but because you're making space. I've worked with people for years who wait for signs. But what most of them learn is that the sign they're waiting for is often buried under the mess they haven't dealt with. And once they start clearing, realigning, making even small moves, the signs flood in. Not because the universe suddenly decided they were ready, but because they decided they were ready. This is the invisible hinge between faith and fulfillment. It's where manifestation shifts from being a wish to becoming a response. Your action is your vote. Your choice is your declaration. And your willingness to show up imperfect, incomplete, even uncertain is what signals to the universe, I'm not just hoping anymore. I'm participating. There's nothing glamorous about wiping down a desk or sending a message you've rewritten 20 times. But behind every ordinary act done with consciousness lies an invitation for something extraordinary. The spiritual world isn't separate from the physical. They're layered, woven together. And when your inner readiness meets outer movement, that's when the gate unlocks. You don't need to overhaul your life in a day. That's not the point. This is not about proving yourself. It's about positioning yourself. The question isn't, have I done enough to deserve it? The real question is, can I show that I'm available to receive it? So take that one action. Just one. Something simple, something real. Let it be your offering. Let it be your signal. Let it be the bridge between where you are and where your soul already knows you're going. And when you've done that one thing, whatever it is, come back here and tell us in the comments. Say it out loud, I've taken my step. I'm in motion. Because the moment you move, something else moves with you. And that's how change begins, not with control, but with a quiet, powerful yes. The universe doesn't shout. It rarely announces its presence with flashing lights and obvious directions. Most of the time, it speaks in whispers, gentle nudges wrapped in ordinary moments that most people walk right past. But if you're quiet enough inside, if you're paying attention not with your eyes, but with your energy, you'll start to notice the patterns. Maybe it's seeing the same number over and over again. 888, 17. 26. You brush it off the first time. The second time feels strange. But the third, the fourth, the fifth? That's no longer coincidence. That's frequency trying to speak to you. Numerology has taught us that 888 is one of the most powerful codes for financial flow. It's the infinite loop of abundance, prosperity that doesn't end, that regenerates, that expands not only what you have, but who you're becoming. It's not about luck. It's about alignment. When you see 888, it's a signal that the energy around you is ready to support growth, but you still have to reach for it. The same goes for the subtler signs. A message from someone you haven't spoken to in years. A stranger's glance that lingers just long enough to stir something in you. A sudden wave of clarity during a quiet walk or just after you've woken up. These aren't random. These are the edges of your new timeline brushing up against your current one, asking, are you ready to choose differently? The more you connect to this awareness, the more you realize the universe is in constant conversation with you. The question is, are you listening? Not just with your ears, but with your openness, your willingness, your presence. And if you want to deepen that connection, here's something simple but incredibly powerful you can do: write it down. Whatever you notice, whatever you're feeling. Keep a little notebook or open a fresh note on your phone. But don't just let the sign pass you by. Capture it. Give it form. Every time you write it down, you're not just recording data. You're retraining your subconscious. You're affirming to your nervous system that these signs matter, that they're worth noticing, and that you're someone who's ready to respond. When you do that, your vibration shifts. It sharpens. And the universe responds to clarity like a tuning fork. The more coherent your field, the more precisely the signs begin to arrive. You don't have to beg for them. You don't have to chase. You just have to become the kind of person who notices. That alone, being someone who notices, can change the direction of your life. Because it means you're no longer asleep at the wheel. You're co-creating. You're walking through your days with awareness, and that awareness begins to move mountains. So if you've seen the numbers, felt the nudges, or heard that quiet inner voice say, this means something, trust it. Don't let the noise of the world drown out your inner knowing. Write it down. Reflect on it. Speak it into your day. Let your life become a dialogue, not a monologue. And if you're feeling that alignment right now, drop a note in the comments and say, I see the signs, and I'm listening. Because sometimes the most powerful shift comes not from what's given to us but from what we choose to notice. When we talk about abundance, we often think of numbers, opportunities, or lucky breaks. But in my experience, real abundance never sustains itself without something deeper underneath it. And that something is your well-being, your clarity, your ability to hold what you've been asking for. Because let me tell you, wealth without grounding isn't freedom. It's chaos in disguise. That's why today, while the skies align and you prepare your $1 million bag, I want to invite you into something just as essential: the practice of tending to your inner world like it actually matters. Because it does. Start simple. Your body is the container for every energetic download, every intuitive hit, every inspired action. If it's tired, depleted, or overwhelmed, even the clearest guidance will feel foggy. So take 10 minutes each morning, not because it's trendy, but because it's healing. Sit in silence. Breathe with intention. Let your nervous system catch up to your spirit. And don't underestimate hydration. Water isn't just physical. It's memory. It's flow. It helps move energy, soften resistance, and carry away what you no longer need to hold. Skip the extra caffeine if you can. Avoid the sugar spikes that only give you quick highs and fast crashes. Your system deserves better than that. And if you're someone who thinks all day, works behind a screen, or lives in your head more than your heart, give your brain what it needs. Omega-3s. B12. Real rest. Not just sleep, but quiet time with no input. Because even intuition needs room to speak. Let's talk about your work. Your purpose. That thing you wake up to do every day. Is it feeding your spirit, or just draining your time? It's not a judgment. It's an honest check-in. Sometimes the work we're doing is simply a stepping stone, not the destination, and that's okay. But if you feel the pull to pivot, even just slightly, honor it. You don't need to quit everything. You just need to start listening. Maybe it's a side project, a class, or a quiet plan you make while the world sleeps. Even one step outside your current routine can change your entire trajectory. Financially, this isn't the moment to shrink or hoard. But it's also not the time to spend without thought. Conscious money is sacred money. Track what's coming in and what's going out, not from fear, but from presence. The more awareness you bring to your financial patterns, the more aligned opportunities start to show up. Clarity magnetizes clarity. And love? Love needs tending too. And I'm not just talking about romantic love. I mean the full spectrum: the love you give, the love you receive, and the love you withhold. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be seen, not the polished version, but the honest one? Maybe today is the day you call that friend you've been missing, or respond to that message you left unread. Or maybe, just maybe, you give someone permission to care about you again. Abundance is not just what you earn. It's how you feel when no one's watching. It's your breath, your peace, your relationships, your connection to your own sense of worth. Wealth built on burnout doesn't last. But wealth built on alignment, clarity, and care? That's the kind that multiplies. So today, ask yourself this: if the version of me who already lives in overflow looked at my life right now, what would they change first? Whatever your answer is, start there. Not with pressure. With presence. With love. And with the quiet knowing that taking care of yourself is not a luxury. It's a declaration that you're ready for more and that you're capable of holding it. You've come this far not by accident, but by a quiet inner pull that knows you're meant for more. Everything we've walked through together in this video, from energetic preparation to intuitive signs to conscious action, is not just knowledge. It's activation. And now, the next step is yours. There's something sacred about the space between readiness and receiving. It's not loud. It doesn't rush. It waits for a deeper yes. Not from the world. From you. And maybe you're feeling that yes rise within you right now, not as a dramatic declaration, but as a calm, grounded truth. You're not waiting anymore. You're not hoping someday will save you. You're stepping forward, even if it's one small choice at a time. This is where transformation begins. Not in perfect plans, but in present action. Not in having it all figured out, but in choosing to believe that you're already equipped with what you need to begin. So ask yourself this: if I knew without a doubt that I was meant to succeed, what would I finally stop postponing? What truth would I say out loud? What action would I take before the day ends? Remember, the energy of Leo is not just about strength. It's about bold-hearted visibility. It's about allowing yourself to shine without apology, to lead with love, and to own your space in the world, not someday, but today. The $1 million bag you've been preparing isn't just a ritual. It's a declaration. A statement to life that says, I am no longer unavailable for abundance. I'm here. I'm ready. So take this moment now and write your affirmation in the comments. Let it be more than just a comment, let it be your commitment to yourself. Say it, I'm ready to receive my $1 million blessing. Your words have power. And when you say them with clarity and faith, the universe listens. Others feel it. And your own mind begins to believe what your heart already knows. And if any part of this message moved you, if it reminded you of something you've forgotten, or woke something up inside you didn't know was waiting, then let that be your sign to stay connected. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone who needs it. Because this isn't just content, it's a container. Eternal mindfulness is a space where healing begins with truth and expands through community. You belong here. Thank you for your time, your trust, your presence. Your light adds something real to this space. And if all you take from this video is one moment of clarity, one shift in direction, or one act of courage, then today has already been a turning point. You don't need to chase magic. You are the miracle. And the door you've been waiting for? It's already open. Now it's your turn to walk through it.